First, you need to recognize your own self-sabotage. You are the one sabotaging your own dream. And you are the only one who can disavow that sabotage with your mantra reminder, with your safe word, with your safe phrase. I am resolved to. Immediately, as soon as you recognize, right? Because there's a difference between, let's say, for instance, you are practicing meditation, right? And you're just practicing meditation. You want to get better at it. And you find that as soon as you sit down after a few moments of breath work, you think, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. And you just get up and go. You got to stop that before it even starts. Your brain has to be trained not even to give you the impulse to urinate while you're meditating. It's like teaching your child not to come into your study, or teaching your child not, like, this is dad's space, this is mom's space, this is like, these are space. You don't come in here unless you're invited. Did I invite you? No, I love you. Go away. Your thoughts are the same thing. Did I invite you? I'm doing something else right now. Why are you trying to distract me from the task at hand? But if you don't recognize the fact that you just got dragged away and enticed by your own thought, how are you going to stop yourself from doing that? You have to do this on a regular daily basis, where you focus on and you train yourself to sensitize yourself to the invasive thoughts that come in, which, now back around the barn, is what I'm talking about in terms of these invasive sabotaging thoughts of, you really don't have to. Come on. You did it yesterday. Wouldn't it feel so much nice? Like, you got to, like, get the fuck out of here, man. I do not want your voice in my head. Like, that voice, get out of here. Get out of here, man. Why don't you just take 405 to San Vicente and, right? As I've said, regardless if you have made this 2026 New Year's resolution and deep, deep down, you aren't motivated to keep your resolution, you're not gonna. Stop making these resolutions. You have to resolve to change your thinking first. That's your work. Because when you don't realize that it's your own thinking that sabotages your thinking, you're not necessarily on the guard of yourself. You're on the guard of other people. Oh, I'm kind of wary of that character. He looks kind of shady, looks kind of shifty. That's you on the inside, your head. Whenever you say to yourself, oh, you don't really have to, oh, you don't need to make your bed, oh, you don't have to lift the seat, oh, you don't have to do this thing that's considerate for someone else. So the minute you have that thought of going against something that you've determined to change, and you don't recognize that trigger, you're never going to keep your resolutions. It's like having, it's like thinking to yourself, man, why do I always have like a low energy after I hang out with whatever his face name is, right? Whatever her name face is, like whenever I meet with her, I'm just so drained. Like, you got to figure out the fact, like, I'm not going to spend time with that person anymore. And then that person calls, and that person calls, and you stop answering the phone, right? That makes sense. You've got a friend who drains your energy after she leaves, after he leaves, whatever, and you're trying to think about, like, why is my energy so drained? And then you figure out, oh, it's because Steve comes over, or it's because Marcy comes over, and she just yaps and yammers, and she never, never wants to make any efforts to, she just wants to puke all over the, and I'm like, how am I gonna? So then you got to think about, what am I gonna do? I got to set up boundaries, right? So if you set up social boundaries, and eventually after 6 months of social boundarizing yourself, Susie stops coming around. Steve stops coming around. Your energy level comes back. Like, you've made a change, you made a choice, and then something goes like, oh, you miss Susie, oh, you miss Steve, call him up. Nope, don't call him up. Nope. And if they don't ever call you and say, hey, man, like, why don't we ever get together anymore? And you say, do you really want to know? because then that might be an opportunity for them to work on something, but they have to come and ask you. You can't just go and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm just going to tell you about this because you don't seem to be you don't seem to have any self-awareness about this situation." But no, you have to just work on yourself. Figure out why it is that you have to get rid of Steve and Stacy or whoever they are, and then make sure you stick with that. And whenever the voice comes into your head says, "Oh, I'll give him a call. Go out for ice cream or whatever." Like, no, you have to resolve. You have to then remind yourself of that safe word, of that safe phrase. You have to remind yourself over and over and over again. All right, lastly, to wrap it up eventually, right? If you do not realize that it is your own desire that determines whether or not you keep your resolution, if you don't realize that that is your own personal choice, you have to create the desire if you don't have it.